These are the assembly instructions for my Snowflake card. I'm starting with my card base. So it's just a rectangle with a score line in the center, and I fold it down on the score line. And then I have two panels for the inside of my card. So to emboss these panels, I've used an embossing folder and an embossing machine. So this wasn't done on my Cricut machine. So I'm going to glue each panel to each half of my card, trying to maintain an even border all the way around. So next I have my sentiment panel. So my base is a piece of foil craft board. Then I have a piece of 80-pound white cardstock. And then I cut my sentiment out of vinyl. So I've just used regular vinyl for the sentiment, and then I've cut out an embellishment in adhesive foil, and I'm just going to glue that down to my base. And these are my mechanism pieces. I'm just folding down on all the score lines for both pieces. This is an extremely simple mechanism. Well, this piece has tabs at both ends. This piece has a tab only on the right-hand side. I'm putting glue all over the end that has no tab on it. So there's just a long panel with a score line. I'm gluing it on to the other mechanism piece. I want it to be glued right over the tab. I'm gluing that piece right over the score line for the tab. So it kind of looks like a T, with my two tabs on each end and a tab at the bottom. So next I'm taking my card base. Because I've embossed my panels, I'm going to use red line tape. If you haven't embossed your panels, where I'm putting red line tape, you could just put glue instead. And just be sure to let your glue dry. This is my mechanism, and I've put red line tape on the bottom of this tab, on the bottom of this tab, and I've put it on the opposite side of this one. So you have your T piece, and as you lay it flat, you've got a piece of red line tape here, here, and here on each tab. So I'm just going to mark the middle of my card. So I've just got my ruler along the center of my card, and I'm just putting a little tick at the 3.5 line, because that's the center of my card. So I'm bringing the two sides of my mechanism up, got my tape exposed. I'm just going to fold it under like so, and then I'm going to position it so that it's more or less centered on that little tick mark that I made. And I'm folding my card upwards a little bit so I can really see where that score line is. I want the very edge of that score line to be on the score line of my card, like so. So when you close your card, your mechanism is centered right on that fold. Next, I'm going to lay my mechanism flat. I'm going to take the liner off my red line tape. So if you were using glue, you'd just be putting glue on that tab, and then close your card. And now I'm applying a little bit of pressure, especially if you have glue. You want to make sure that your glue dries before you open your card. You fold it down two of those tabs. You want to fold down the third one. So I'm bringing my mechanism towards me, so towards the front of the card. Now take the liner off my red line tape. So if you were putting glue, you would be flattening your mechanism and pulling your tab upwards, putting glue on it, and then when you open your card, that pops up. The front of my card will be here, so as you open up the card, the sentiment springs up. So I'm just putting glue all over that front rectangle, and then I'm placing my sentiment so it's more or less centered on my panel. So I want more or less an even amount on the right and the left hand side. And then I'm gluing on my front panel. For my front panel, I'm putting glue, especially on the little tips here of my snowflakes. You have to work quickly here before the glue dries. I'm positioning my panel so there's more or less an even border on the three sides. And then I have a glitter panel for the back as well. And then I have my little spot for my signature to write a note and sign the card. So I've got more of that foil craft board and that 80-pound white cardstock. Next I have my envelope piece, and I'm just folding down on all the score lines for it. I'm putting glue on one of the points, gluing the other point to it, and then I'm putting glue all along the edge of that bottom triangle. And then just gluing that down. And then fits nicely in my envelope.